Hi guys, Ken here from Renewable Heat and all things renewable. Today I'm going to have a little bit of a rant about the grid, EV cars and heat pumps, and how it's going to melt the grid and the grid's going to explode and we're all going to go into darkness. So why am I ranting? Well, I get a lot of and read a lot of comments on the social medias about but how's the grid going to cope when there's so many heat pumps, and what we're going to do, and I just want to hopefully take away some of that anxiety from you in what's coming for the future. Now there's talk about electrification, heat pumps, EV charging, all those things are happening now. But I do want to take you back about 30-40 years, just for the moment. Now, I've been in the heating industry for over 30 years now, and I've seen a lot of changes and a lot of things. Going back to that time, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of homes in the UK were already electrified. And what I mean by that was they are heated by electric and their hot water came from electric, and the hot water was via an immersion heater, and generally the heating was done by storage heaters that were heated on an economy 7 tariff throughout the night on cheaper electric, and then they slowly reduced it, they slowly discharged the heat during the day. So we look at all those hundreds of thousands, may have even been millions of homes in the UK that were doing that back then. We had a lot more coal-fired power stations. We had high energy light bulbs. We had the 100 watts and the 60 watts and the 80 watts and all that sort of stuff. We didn't have LCD flat screen TVs and low energy appliances. And the grid coped. It didn't fall over, didn't break. But I just want to point to a gadget, device, appliance that was installed in millions and millions of homes, and maybe even still installed now, that was quite high energy intensive appliance, and that was an electric shower. Now, from memory, because I don't do bathrooms and showers and all that anymore, that for me is a long time gone. An electric shower was at least 7 to 9 kilowatts of power. Now I know you're going to say, Ken, but they doesn't run all day, doesn't being used all day. But there was millions of those. You did not have to ask the DNO's permission to install a shower. You fitted it, and that was that. Mr. and Mrs. Jones didn't have to have their shower between the hours of 8 and 9 in the morning, and then Mr. Smith next door had to have his shower between the hours of 9 and 10 in the morning to balance the grid because it was overloading the grid. Really? Are we really going to fall over? I don't think so. Let's bring it back to today. I've now got a heat pump, and that heat pump is 8 kilowatts. I also have a house with energy efficient appliances, LED lighting, an induction hob, a cooker, a kettle, iron, immersion heater. I have all those things in my house. The heat pump is an 8 kilowatt. It's summertime. We are experiencing quite good weather at the moment. When my heat pump does a hot water cycle, let's say it's got a COP of 4. Now if you've watched my previous video, you hopefully will get an understanding of what COP or COP means. So I'm putting 2 parts of energy in to get 8 parts of energy out. So I've got an 8 kilowatt heat pump, so I'm only putting in 2 kilowatts. Right, so that's That's going to break the grid, surely. If millions and millions of heat pumps are using 2 kilowatts, oh my goodness, it's going to break the grid. Your kettle is 3 kilowatts, your ovens are 3.5, 4 kilowatts, your induction hobs are 2 to 3.5 kilowatts, and some people still have electric showers that are 9 kilowatts. Yeah, but Ken, what about the winter? The sun's not always shining, the wind's not always blowing, we're not producing renewable energy. What happens in the winter? Okay, so in the winter, when my unit is working hard, my heat pump's working really hard, my COP might only be 2. So I need 8 kilowatts and I'm having to put 3 or 4 kilowatts in. Well, to be honest, that's a little bit more than just the average kettle putting into my heating system. I live in an average house. There's going to be millions of retrofits being done to average houses in the UK. Bigger houses are slightly different, okay? They will put more demand on the grid. Let's put another element into this equation. Agile tariffs, okay? So at the moment, during the night, my electricity price tends to be cheaper than it is during the day. The peak time for anybody, any grid, any network, any power station, the peak time is generally between 4 and 7 p.m. We all come home, we all are showering, cooking, kettles on, ovens on, induction hobs on, we're eating our meals and everything, and that's the high demand on the grid. So what do? We do a thing called load shifting. So I will actually turn my heat pump off between those hours. So if I run out of hot water, tough. If I need some heating, tough. So for 3 or 4 hours my heat pump doesn't run. It's not winter yet, I know. But the point I'm coming to is I now have a device that will automatically run my heat pump during the night or when the tariff price is really cheap, and it will automatically do that for me. I don't have to do anything. As soon as it sees that a couple of hours during the night is cheap, it will upload my hot water, it will load my heating buffer for the morning, it will also charge my battery. The other day my heat pump done a hot water cycle completely on battery and solar PV. I didn't pull anything off the grid. Yes, I know it's summertime. The winter's going to be different. But I've already explained that even in winter, my heat pump is still a quarter of an average electric shower in energy use. So there you go. My heat pump's not gonna break the grid. We're not gonna break the grid. But Ken, what about electric cars? And you know, they're gonna break the grid. Same thing. We can charge an electric vehicle at specific times when the tariff is cheap or when the grid has capacity. We can speed up the charge of a car, we can slow down the charge of a car, and now more and more is coming into play that the car at certain times in peak demand on the grid can actually supplement the grid. If you had 100,000 cars plugged in, charging, trickle charging, and then there was a demand in the grid, all those 100,000 cars could then supplement the grid, which means they don't have to turn on an extra power station while everybody's boiling their kettle in the middle of half time on a football match or something. The spike might only be for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it will balance itself back out and go back to its normal trickle cycle. That's how the grid's going to balance. They already know this is coming. They've foreseen this coming years and years back. They're building the technologies in, they're building the smart grid technologies into appliances, they're building battery storage for short, high peak demand setups. So a battery could be slowly trickle charged, and then on a high peak demand you can dump that energy into the grid very quickly. The grid's not going to fall over. So if I see a comment and I'm a bit flippant, then please, I do apologise. Please comment below, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter as well. I'm happy to say that I do have some heat pump training coming very soon. I'm now hopefully this weekend going to get another heat pump, which I will be using as my training apparatus for you guys. I know you've been waiting. I know some of you have been subscribed to the channel now for a while, and I'm not giving out as much content as I would like, and it's because I am waiting on getting elements in place to bring to you. So